Hey, good morning. Welcome, Empower Living community. Great to be with you this morning. Thanks for jumping on as we continue to talk about this idea of understanding the universal laws, 7 laws that govern the way that we think and behave. And how do we apply these laws? Because I think that's really critical. There's one thing, to have an intellectual understanding of something. It's a completely different understanding about how to apply it in our life. So why is this important for me, and how do I get the full benefit of the knowledge, right? So watch this clip. This clip is fairly long. I think it may be probably one of the best teachings of the entire program, because it really, if you've watched, most of these, free previews of the Fully Resourced Mentorship Program, I think this video here really begins to tie it all together. So watch this on the law of cause and effect, and I'll see you on the other side. Be well. Well, welcome back, and I hope you did that exercise in the law of rhythm. Again, I promise you, if you'll do that, it will be life-changing. Now, we're ready to move on to the next law, the law of cause and effects. So go ahead and draw that stick person diagram. So again, you have it in front of you as you go through this. Now let's talk about our mind again. Looking at that big circle in the diagram, you're going to split it into half, with the top representing the conscious mind, the bottom half being the subconscious mind. And again, our conscious mind, we can think thoughts. Our subconscious mind really serves as a storage box for all the thoughts that we've ever had. Now, you can think of any kind of thought you want in your conscious mind. You can think of positive thoughts or negative thoughts. You've been gifted with free will. But whatever kind of thought you choose, that thought has a vibrational frequency to it. And we know that all vibrations follows the law of energy. And we also know that thoughts are the creative source of all things. Thoughts are energy. Thoughts create vibration. Vibration is energy. And energy creates everything you see in the universe. And we know there is positive thought and that there is negative thought. And we know that there is positive energy and negative energy. Let me just ask you a really simple, basic question. If you have a negative thought, that creates a negative vibration that expresses negative energy. What do you think is going to be created? Something positive or something negative? I think it's pretty simple to see that you would only be able to create something negative with a negative thought. Negative vibration and negative energy. Now, I said something. I said that thoughts create everything. And I also said that energy creates everything, because thoughts and energy are the same. Now, you may be thinking, well, how does a thought create a chair? How does a thought create a TV, a building, or a computer? Everything starts in the form of a thought. And you have been gifted with the ability to think. And the thoughts that you think have an energetic vibrational frequency. We know this. We can do a brain scan on a person, and we can see the energy waves as they think different thoughts. I want to answer a couple of questions that often come up, because I think the answers to these questions will give you another teaching on the laws, maybe a deeper understanding. The questions are these. How can we be in harmony with positive thinking when we're surrounded by negative people? How can we control our thinking vibration and our own emotional state when there are negative external conditions? In other words, how can we increase the amplitude of our vibration for the positive rather than having it be sucked down by the negative? So let's take a look at what this diagram of the stick person will show us. We know that the top half of the circle, this is our thinking mind, and we can choose whatever thought we want. We know that when we think a thought in our conscious mind, the energy of that thought, by law, must flow into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind serves as the control center for us. The subconscious mind registers whether this is a positive or negative energy. And if it's positive energy or negative energy, it sends a positive or negative message through your central nervous system. So the positive or negative energy that we have in our original thought determines the emotional state we feel in our body. Negative thought, negative vibration, negative feeling. Positive thought, positive vibration, positive feeling. Now, when your body is in a positive vibration, how does someone act when they're in a positive or good mood? How does somebody act or behave when they're in a negative mood? Does a person who's in a positive mood or a person who's in a negative mood, do they behave in the same ways, or do they behave differently? Have you ever gone into a grocery store or to the bank or the post office and had to interact with an employee working at their job, and you see one person who's working there with this really positive attitude, and then you see another person who's there, and it's like they just got this negative attitude, and you don't even have to talk to them to know that one is positive and one is negative. The positive person is smiling, the negative person looks angry. The positive person has a little bit of pep in their step. The negative one, a little bit of a slow swagger. The positive person behaves in an enthusiastic way, ready to help. And the negative person, not so much. The positive person may even go out of their way to extend help to you. The negative person feels that, you're bothering them if you approach the counter. You can feel their energy. Again, that's the use of your intellectual faculty of intuition. You can tune in. Their vibrational state controls their behavior. It controls their action. Negative thought, negative vibration, negative feeling, negative behavior, negative action, negative results. Positive thought, positive vibration, positive emotion, positive action, positive results. If you want to change what's going on in your outside world, if you wanted to change your negative results and you wanted to make sure that you change them perfectly and in the most immediate way, would you change your behavior or would you change your thoughts? Which do you think is the most effective way? See, what most people do is they try to change their behavior. Or worse yet, they try to change someone else's behavior. Oftentimes people will say, I'm mad or I'm sad. No, mad and sad are negative vibrations. And if you ask the person, why are you mad? Why are you sad? They'll say, well, my neighbor made me mad. Someone at work made me mad. My husband or my wife made me mad. In other words, they're saying that something or someone outside of themselves controls what's going on inside of them. In his very famous book about his experiences in Auschwitz, Dr. Viktor Frankl wrote in this book, Man's Search for Meaning, something very profound. He said, between the spaces of stimulus and response lies your power to choose your response. He was a Jewish psychiatrist in Auschwitz suffering the inhumanity that was perpetrated against him. And he said no matter what the German soldiers and the guards did in that prison, whether they beat them, tortured them, or starved them, and they did all of it, they could never control what was going on in their mind, what they chose to think about. No matter what injustice occurred to them, they were gifted with the most precious gift from God, the gift of free will, the gift to choose one's own thoughts and attitude. He recognized that you and I are causative beings. We are creative beings, that we have been given the gift of free will. Regardless of what's happening to me, I can choose my own vibrational state. I can choose to be mad. I can choose to be happy. I can choose to be afraid. I can choose to have faith. I can choose to be angry, or I can choose to be forgiving. Truly in life, 10% is what happens to us, and 90% really is how we choose to respond. And you get to choose how you respond because you are a causative being. You've been given dominion over all things. That is your birthright. And so when someone asks you the question, what do I do when my husband or wife makes me mad? I have to question, who has control over you? You have free will. No one can make you mad or sad or angry without your permission. You can choose at any moment in time, you can choose a different thought. You can choose to operate from a different state to live from. Now, most of us have never practiced self-control at that level because most of us have never been taught our own personal power. Most of us have been programmed, throughout our lives from the outside in, that we live our lives from the outside in. And we say things like, see what you made me do. You made me mad. They really upset me. You hurt my feelings. They didn't make you mad. They didn't make you angry. They didn't hurt your feelings. You surrendered your personal power. You chose to surrender your power to choose. Your thinking and your attitude. You surrendered your power to choose to be a causative force. You'll hear people say, I can't do this or that because of some outside condition or circumstance. So a person will have an idea to maybe start a new business, maybe reach a new goal, maybe desire to grow themselves personally. And they're working on a job, and the boss comes in and says, we've got a new position that pays $10,000 more a year, but in order to have that job, you need a special certification. And the person looks up and says, how much money is it going to cost me to go back to school and get the certification? How much time is it going to take me to do this? And they find out that it's going to cost them $500 and 2 weekends of their time. And they look at their bank account and they realize they don't have the $500. And then they look at the calendar and they realize they don't have the time to go to the classes. And then they think, well, this isn't fair. I can't get the raise and I can't get the promotion that I want and I deserve. And here are the magical words. I can't have what I want because I don't have the time. Or I can't have what I want because I don't have the money. I can't have what I want because, and you can fill in the blank. And they look at the outside conditions and circumstances of time or money, and they see the outside conditions or circumstances as being the cause of why they can't. And they see their life as an effect of these outside causes. So the whole world has to change in order for them to get what it is that they want. I can't do that because I don't have the time or money. I can't do that because I don't have the skill. I can't do that because I don't have the connections. I can't do that because I lack the resources. I can't because. My question is, what are you the cause of? Is your wife the cause? Is your husband the cause? If the time is the cause, if the money is the cause, then what the hell are you the cause of? Think about it. It's like the rest of the world has to go to the psychiatrist for us to get better. So many people surrender what they want and give up their dream because they lack the understanding and awareness that they are causative beings. The most creative beings in the universe, the only creation by God that can choose to think. The only creation, created by God that can change our own vibration. And we run around like, elephants afraid of mice. Are you kidding me? You're gonna give up pursuing your dream? You're gonna surrender that? You're gonna surrender what it is that you want because of some outside condition? Are you kidding me? You're gonna prevent your family from living the best life they can because? You're gonna surrender your personal potential because? You're going to let some outside condition or circumstance or situation control your creative power because? Do you have any idea at all who you are? Do you have any idea, any conception at all of how powerful you are? Do you not know that you were made in the image of God? And God is the creator of the entire universe. And you can't do what it is that you want to do, that you're calling your purpose because you don't have $500 or $5,000? Are you kidding me? You can't be serious. You're not going to buy the house. You're not going to buy the car. You're not going to buy the clothes you want to wear because you don't have enough money, or you don't have enough time, or you're not good enough. I often ask somebody, has it ever occurred to you to just go get better? Did you ever just wake up one day and say, you know what? I don't think I'm going to be average anymore. I don't think I'm going to live outside in. I don't think I'm going to be controlled. Oh, I want to lose weight, but I can't because I don't have the time to go to the gym. I can't because I don't have the money to join the gym. I can't because. Most people blame their wife, their husband, their job, their government, rather than recognizing that it's their becauses of their life that's robbing them of their lives. And you are in control of the becauses of your life. Nobody else. Nobody else. It's called personal responsibility. It's called self-reliance. It's called human potential. It's called human spirit. It's the essence of who you are. And most of us have forgotten that. If you are stuck in any area of your life, or if you find yourself a victim of circumstance, you are lost in a hallucination. You are hallucinating about your own personal power. You are the most powerful and creative being in the universe. In fact, all you do is create. Who do you think created the lack of time and money in your life? Do you think it was an accident? Like, do you really believe it's an accident that your life isn't working out the way you want? Like you don't really believe that God has some secret lottery, up in the sky and you just got a losing ticket. You don't really believe that. You don't really think that I called up your husband or I called your wife or the two of us kind of called up your boss and then we went out and we got a hold of all of your brothers and your sisters and the rest of your family and we had this big secret meeting, to make your life miserable. like you don't really believe that. You really don't believe there's some big conspiracy against you, do you? My, how some people's egos work, like the whole world's plotting against them, that they're that important. But if you look at how people live their lives, if you look at how I was living my life, this is how I lived my life. I lived my life this way. For the first half of my life, I lived this way. If you just look at how people live their life, If you just listen to the things they say, he made me mad, she upset me, they made me mad, see what you made me do. I can't because. Are you kidding me? You are a king's kid. So we want to recognize that there is a law of our being. Emerson said that this is the law of all laws. This is the law of cause and effect. That for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, period, end of story. It doesn't matter whether you meant to do it or didn't mean to do it. When you take a good person or a bad person to the top of a building, and as they both take a step off, they both fall. And if a baby is up there with them and the baby falls, then the baby falls too. It's not fair. I know it doesn't seem fair, but there's no such thing as fair. It is either lawful or it is not lawful. The law is always expressed. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Do you really want to start this causative power, this causative action, by thinking of all the reasons why you cannot do something? Do you really want to start all the causative action, by thinking of all the things that could go wrong? Do you want to put this causative action, this power, your power, into thinking of all the reasons why you're not good enough? Because if that's what you want to think, if that's what you're going to think, if that's where you're going to put your energy, if that's the cause that you want to put into motion, what you sow, you reap. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You're a causative being. You control what you think about. You have dominion over all things. You have the power to choose, to be, to do, to have whatever it is that you want in your life. There are no boundaries except the ones that you and I create, and we create them out of ignorance. We lack the understanding and awareness of our own power. Most people would be more willing to buy a ticket to a movie than a ticket to hear what I'm teaching you right now. Very few people would ever make the investment in themselves to grow like you have in this program. And I salute you and I congratulate you because I did the work that you're doing right now. Very few people ever seek to understand more about their own power. It's as if they were afraid to know just how powerful they really were. It's like they're afraid of their own potential. Very few people would ever invest the time and money to grow. It's not our darkness that holds us back. It's our light. It is a sad day when we see a child afraid of the dark. It's even sadder day when we see an adult afraid of their own light. It is our light and not our darkness that frightens us. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. These are the words of Marianne Williamson. She says, it's not our darkness. It is our light that frightens us most. You playing small does not serve the world. It does not serve the world. You marginalizing and diminishing yourself does not serve you and your family. You were created to manifest the glory of God within you. It is not in some of us. It is in each and every single one of us in equal measure. It's like faith. Each of us have been given a measure of faith, the same amount of faith. We have to develop it. And as we liberate ourselves from ignorance, then and only then will we become aware of our potential. But I can't do it for you. And this program can't do it for you. You have to do this. You have to participate in your own life. You have to be the one willing to take the first positive step in your own life. Just by being in this program, just by saying yes to the willingness to grow and learn, you're in the 1% club. Very few people would ever invest the time and money to learn something new about themselves, to examine their own life. Socrates said that the unexamined life is a life not worth living. This is the law of cause and effect. Emerson said, it's the law of all laws. When we become aware of conditions and circumstances outside of us that we want to change, the first thing we do is we recognize that we created them. We participated in their creation at some level. We've attracted them into our life at some level. Those very negative experiences have come to serve you. They've come to make you uncomfortable enough to grow. The Bible says, today I give you both a blessing and a curse. Your hardest conditions and circumstances, the toughest situations you face today, can serve you to be the catalyst of your growth, or can be a convenient excuse for your demise. The choice and the power is in you. Your birthright is to have dominion over all things. That includes your date book and your checkbook. That includes all of your relationships. When we become aware of things that we want to change, we acknowledge that they are ours to change, that we have the power to change them. And we do that with the power of our free will to choose our thoughts. And that's why being in a program like this is so powerful, because you're exposed to a new type of thinking. and a new level of awareness. There you have it. One of the most powerful laws, as Emerson said, it is the law of all laws. The realization, the understanding that we are causative beings is so critically important. It's one of the reasons why almost every single day I draw out that stick person and I look at what am I thinking? Is my thinking in alignment with what I want? Certainly one of the greatest areas that we can use this as a test is with our finances. And the reason for that is because money is something that we can measure right down to the cent. We can measure it down to the dollar, to the euro. Whereas if we're, setting goals to be happy or confident, that's subjective. But I really like whenever we're putting something to the test in terms of personal growth and development to use money because, again, you can absolutely measure it. One of the things that I challenge people to do is to enter into the consideration of doubling their income. You would be amazed at how many people immediately reject the idea. And why do they reject the idea? They reject the idea because they look at their current results. They look at all the outside conditions and circumstances and they say, my current results and the current conditions and circumstances do not match this dream. And so they begin to give power or causative force to their past results, to the outside conditions and circumstances. Now, it's interesting. Those same people who immediately reject the idea of doubling their income, if asked, would you want to double your income? Well, absolutely. It's an IQ test. Who would not want to double their income? But they immediately reject the idea. They won't even entertain the idea. It's been said that the sign of an educated person is a person who can entertain a new idea, step out and act on that idea, and then change, alter, or improve the conditions and circumstances of their life. And yet most people would consider themselves an educated person and immediately reject the idea of doubling your income. I'm going to talk a lot more here in the next couple of weeks about doubling your income because I think it's a worthy goal. So just for the rest of this weekend, ask yourself, what would it be like if I were to actually double my income in the next 12 months? What kind of impact would that make on you, your family, your life, the trajectory of your whole family? See, here's what I know. If you're making $50,000 a year, you've already figured out how to make $50,000 a year once in a 12-month cycle. All I'm suggesting is that you have within you the potential to think through how you could do it twice. You've got to be open-minded to this new idea. You've got to at least entertain it long enough. Most people will kill the idea because they lack the understanding of just this one law. So if you want to apply the law of cause and effect, truly apply the understanding of this law, this is a great way to do it. How could I double my income? What would it be like? Chances are you've probably already done it once in your life. If you're making $50,000 a year now, chances are there was a time in your life where you were only making $10,000 or $17,000. So you've already doubled it once. I'm suggesting you can do it again. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Be well.